The Upstate Golf Guys podcast is brought to you by GOLFWEEK Amateur Tour, New York to Upstate, a national tour for all golfers and skill sets in its 31st year. We represent the New York Upstate region, and to join, visit amateurgolftour.net and click Join Now for the best amateur golf tour in the country. David Calise, with his beautiful home for rent in Saratoga Springs. This mansion is located on Airbnb. What a way to enjoy Saratoga with family and or friends on a vacation to golf, go to the horse track, or relax in this beautiful home. For more information, go online to Airbnb/H/mansion in Saratoga Springs for information. Northeastern Insurance Agency for all your insurance needs. Voted #1 insurance agency in the Capital Region in 2024 by the Times Union. For any insurance needs, call Jared at 518-956-3753. The Bunker Indoor Golf, located in over 7 locations across the Capital Region and host of our GOLFWEEK Am Tour Winter League on Saturday mornings. From golfing on their state-of-the-art simulators or having a delicious meal with your friends or family, come on down and visit one of the Bunker locations. Visit them online, getinthebunker.golf. For more information of the Upstate Golf Guys podcast and their partners, visit upstategolfguys.com.
And welcome back to another episode of the Upstate Golf Guys podcast. We are already at episode 70, Adam. Can you believe it, sir?
That's a lot. That's real good.
I know it's real good, man.
Yeah.
I started this thing last year, man. I stayed consistent week to week, and it's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun. You meet some new people in this game, and it's really been a blast, bro. It's really been a blast.
Yeah, we get to talk about a lot of different things. You have a lot of great guests like we have on tonight, and we just talk golf and something that we all enjoyed, doing, and it's cool to hear different stories from different individuals across the country. So excited for tonight, especially.
100%. And tonight we have an MMA guy that loves to fight and throw fists, which I want to hear more about. But John, why don't you introduce yourself and tell the listeners a little bit about what you do and your new love for golf, bro. The mic is yours.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me on, guys. Pleasure to be on and talk with you guys. So my name is John DELBRUGGE, and I'm a kind of retired, I guess you could say, I'm officially retired, former professional mixed martial arts fighter. I'm from the Mid-Atlantic area, so kind of like right outside of Baltimore, in between like Baltimore and Annapolis. I turned professional. I've been training martial arts and MMA since about 2006 at the same gym that I'm at now, and so I've been like surrounded by kind of high level coaches, high level fighters for a really long time. I turned professional 2010, 2011 time frame, and then around like 2013, 2016, I was like probably one of the more prominent mixed martial arts fighters outside of the UFC in the United States at the time. I had 2 welterweight championships of prominent regional promotions in the U.S., Shogun Fights and Ring of Combat, based in Atlantic City in Baltimore. So I was kind of right outside of the UFC and kind of in talks with getting into the UFC, and then around that time frame, if you can kind of like put yourselves in the time frame about 2014-15, when like Conor McGregor was getting really big, Ronda Rousey was getting really big, MMA kind of seemed like there was like a buzz in the air. It was like that was right around the time like Mayweather was fighting Conor McGregor. So like the UFC was basically like on a signing freeze at that time. Not really, but like it was really hard for them to sign like 170-pound white guy with tattoos from America at the time. They were really trying to branch out and get international markets. So I had to kind of like sit and wait or defend one of my titles and get some more momentum going. So I ultimately opted to kind of like fight, and I ended up losing 2 fights in a row. And before I lost those 2 fights, I was 9-2, and I had 2 titles. And then I turned into 9-4, and then my managers were like, "Hey, all you got to do is win 3 more fights, and you're going to be right back on the radar and where you are." And at the time, I was like 32, and I had one kid, and I had another one on the way, and like Notorious B.I.G. said, "Mad bills to pay." So I was, and I, like I said, I was fighting professional mixed martial arts at like a prominent level, but still, at that time, even now, when you're in the UFC, guys are spending more money on training camps than they're making 9 times out of 10. So just because they're psychos and they're trying to get that extra edge and that extra advantage, and you guys are golf guys, so like that it's a grind to get onto what people see on Saturdays and Sundays. They don't see like the guys that are living in their cars. They don't see the guys that have literally missed like 37 cuts in a row and they actually never made one. And so their whole livelihood's on the line and everything's on pause around them. And a lot of these guys in golf come actually from affluent and good families, so they're really going out of their way to like not become like finance bros and like have actual real jobs. So like they're sacrificing a lot too. Same thing with the MMA guys, and I was kind of living that life, but I was really really close to kind of getting on that PGA tour of fighting, and then it all be worth it, because in my mind, what was worth it was not really to become the next Conor McGregor or anything like that. It was just to get myself on, say that I was a fighter on the UFC roster, and so small people throughout human history can ever say that they have done that. Even till today, I had one of my guys at the gym run the numbers and say, "Hey, tell me how many people have ever been on a UFC roster since they were an actual like organization or everything." It was like about 2,300 people ever since 1994, since it was a thing. Not a lot. That is not a lot of people. So,
I know.
like, if you're a martial arts guy and you're like sacrificing everything under the sun just to do this, like, you really got to look at stuff that like money can't buy, like metaphysical things. Like, hey, I tell my guys all the time, like, your goal should not be like, you're not doing this to get rich. You're not doing this for your family. If you were doing that for your family, you would want to do something else. This is a disservice. There's a million other ways to get even like a halfway decent job than to pursue this. So I tell them that like you have to actually fight for things like, hey, you're going to be part of a very select group of humans that get etched in history. Are people going to like look back at your name and celebrate it? Maybe not. Maybe only your family and friends and their family and friends and so on and so forth. But still, it's a very cool thing to say. And also, like, you get one fight in the UFC, that's a down payment on a piece of property somewhere in the United States. I don't care who you are, that's a good investment. So for a young kid who is up and coming to get that, so those like were only my goals. I was never, and it was a very attainable goal. I was very close to it, but when I was, I remember being in the last fight that I lost. I mean, these were close fights that I lost too. They were. I really like had a lot to like go back in there and finish off. But honestly, after that last fight, I was ready to retire right there in the cage, and my coach was like, "No, no, no, no." I was like, "Give me the microphone. I want to retire." He's like, "What? No, 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 get out of here, get out of here." So he brought me back to the locker room in the arena, and like my heart rate was so high. The doctors were like, just keep an eye on him. He might go into cardiac arrest." So, like, I just had to lay in the back of the Royal Farms Arena in Baltimore for like an hour. Like everybody had left. They were like kicking me out, and I just couldn't move. I was just like in a deep. I just knew it was done, kind of, And I was always afraid to say it because I put so much into fighting. I know that you kind of guys asked me like who I am, and I went off on a tangent about like my mixed martial arts career, but this is kind of who I was as a fighter.
Well, I was gonna say I can do some screen sharing here. I can do some screen sharing, and if you don't mind, can I bring up your MMA page of you doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Boxing? All right, let me bring that up. Let me bring that up for. Keep talking, y'all, but it'll be a second. I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, so kind of going back to that fight where I kind of knew it was over. And once I did, I really never came to terms with it for a really long time, and never really like outwardly said I was retired. I was always just kind of like let me stay in shape, but also let me like figure out something else to do in my life. At the time, I was like managing and coaching at like multiple different of our gyms that we've opened up since I've been training at this one place. You know, since I've been here, I opened up a gym with my coach, mentor, business partner at the time, Julius Park, who's the owner of Crazy 88 MMA, which is the gym that I come from.
Nice.
Um, but so I was doing all that, and I was like, I don't want to run. I don't want to like live. It's like, guys, I can always blend the golfing and fighting together. I always bring it to my guys. My guys are always like, shut the fuck up. I'm
You
gonna
could
cuss them.
you could say that. It's
Okay,
okay.
my guys are always like, shut the fuck up about golf and relating them all together. But like, you know how it is. Like, if you like golf and you love golf and you want to play golf, you would think like, hey, you should get like become like a PGA Tour of America coach, so you could just like work at a golf club and just be around golf all the time. How much golf do those guys play? You guys know this, right?
Yeah, not much.
Not a lot of golf, right? Yeah, they're just freaking grinding it out in the golf shops, you know, in the club, and they're like dealing with maintenance. They're literally dealing with all the nitty gritty
Yep.
of what like of how we get to enjoy golf, you know.
Yeah.
So that's how it is when you want to like work in the martial arts game
No
full
doubt.
time. You want to be a coach. You want to be a coach to even UFC fighters. Your ass is gonna be on the road every weekend, every other weekend if you got a successful fight team, you know.
Yeah.
And then if you're lucky, you're going to be going to the UFCs because they roll out the red carpet for you. Okay, but if you're fighting in wherever the fuck Louisiana, you know, they're gonna like maybe pay for one guy's flight, you know, and then they're gonna take out everything else out of the fighter's purse. So then sometimes you're driving down or whatever, but it can be a real hassle, and it's like, but you know, the game requires people to devote their lives to that, and I selfishly like I couldn't really didn't want to do that. And I also like had at that time I had family and I had other responsibilities. This is why I tell fighters, I'm like, make sure you try to make your run at this first before you go do that. Don't try to meet the next level of your life while you're also simultaneously trying to get into the UFC. They're gonna to counterproductive. You're gonna meet a woman and say what that like, hey, by the way, I am not available at all ever. Basically, you know, a couple days on the weekends, and who knows how I will mentally be on there. You know, so it's like you're not even a great person to be around a lot when you're going through this, which is kind of why I kind of knew I was done. I was like, I had a really loving, supporting support system around me. All these are like clips and videos of my fights, by the way.
Yeah, no, I'm literally gonna, I'm picking out what one I'm gonna choose from. But yeah,
Nice.
can I run one? Can I run one? Do you mind?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, go ahead. This
right.
fight's at Royal Farms Arena for my 2015.
Yeah, and jumps back him down. And you see John. And he
This was a fight right after coming back from an elbow surgery.
Oh,
my
shit.
first fight back, so it was a big deal.
Good. Actually, what's funny here is that even though Vaj,
there you go, right there. Vaj threw the jab.
Ooh.
John slipped under and took half the
Nice takedown for
He's
sure.
a tough guy from, I think he's from Georgia, not the Georgia in Atlanta.
Georgia country.
Yeah, Georgia judo guy.
Nice. Smashing his head in the ground.
That's
Love
it.
it.
And what's crazy when I watch these things is, you know, he looked like he was just kind of like tapping his head too, but I'm sure those punches are probably not too happy.
Yeah, you're trying. You know, with those elbows, you're actually trying to throw like a glancing type of an elbow, and not really like you're really not going for actual knockout. You're going for more of a cut. You're really trying to slice right over top of
Love it.
the eyebrows.
Love it. I'm going to take one more. I'm going to just do a quick pick here.
Yeah. Actually, go back up. I'll give you a good one to go at. Right there, that one. Go back down one more. One more below that. That one right there.
This one's
there.
Yeah. This was a title fight right here.
Oh
All right.
Nasty right hand connects the speed of the strikes of John DELBRUGGE.
Nice.
As he grabs the leg, gets him up against the cages of Mike.
Yeah, this is a good one.
The striking of John DELBRUGGE.
Funny enough, I was just talking to this guy that I was fighting here this past weekend at an event.
Nice.
Good guy, Michael Terrell. Yeah, he's fighting soon.
And you keep in touch with these guys, which is awesome, dude. I love that.
Yeah, I see him. You know, I see him honestly all over the country at different shows and stuff like that. And it's a big circle and network and a fraternity of people, as is the PGA Tour. There's a lot of similarities and parallels, and you know, I'll get into this why I got into golf and stuff like that. But
absolutely, man.
Yeah.
I want to hear it, bro.
Yeah, the one thing I enjoy when you were talking is you know, with the MMA, you know, a lot of times I'd actually didn't think about it until just about 5 minutes ago, but the MMA is so similar to, like you said, the PGA Tour, because when you're out there in the you know, in the octagon and when you're fighting, I mean, obviously you have your coach, you know, screaming at you and telling you what's up, and you know, it's like the same thing with golf. You're out there competing by yourself to the best of your abilities. To make it to the top, you know, like you said, a lot of guys we know on the PGA Tour, the Justin Thomases, the Rorys, I mean, they're set for life. But then you have those grinders that you see here and there. You know, sometimes they don't make the cut. They have to go back to the Corn Ferry. You know, they're not making much money. They're sleeping in their cars. So, you know, it is, you know, exciting that, you know, you mentioned that, you know, just being on a UFC roster, I mean, you felt accomplished. And it's just like, you know, for me growing up, I always want to be, you know, an NBA player because I'm 6'5", and basketball was my life. But you know, looking back, it's like, man, you know, if I could just, you know, just make one PGA Tour event, I would just be so satisfied in my life. And you know, that's cool. You know, that's cool that you said that.
And I tell the guys this too, because you have to, like, as a fighter, you're usually like giving up everything to do it. So you might as like, you're gonna have to be like an entrepreneur type of person after fighting is done 9 times out of 10. And if you're not, you're still gonna want to market yourself like corporately. You know, like even if you want, like, you know, one of my current goals is to become a corporate executive and stuff, and I'm kind of climbing that ladder in the tech world also. And that's something I got into after fighting, and you know, like I kind of decided I can touch on this, or we'll just go from here. But wait, what were we just bring me back to? What
We're
you were just
talking
touching on?
about, you know, PGA and the MMA being similar with the grind.
So this is, and I tell the guys this. I'm like, hey, just making it on the UFC roster, you can use that to market yourself,
Yeah.
like in other areas of any business that you want. If you were going to start a landscaping company, you could still be like, hey, former UFC veteran Joe Smith's landscaping crew. Like, people are going to be like, holy shit, that guy's he was a fucking UFC veteran. Oh, let's go with him. Like, that's, you know, whatever it is. Yeah, like Joe Smith's alarm system. You know, and then you look him up, and he's like, hey, Joe Smith is a UFC veteran, and he likes alarm. You know, he takes alarm system very. You would like be automatically captivated. It gives you social credibility, and it connects people to your story, and it gives you like authority. You know, so that's just one thing that comes with it. But like, it's the same thing. Imagine you just getting one PGA Tour card, one. I mean, like automatically the you know, the podcast shoots in popular. It just gives more credibility to that. You know, it's like. So it's the same. There's so many similarities. Same thing with like you got a golf swing, but then you also have like a lot of different clubs that serve a lot of different purposes. So you actually have to kind of master different swings for each different clubs in different situations. Just like in MMA, you got striking, but which type of striking are you talking? Are you talking like just boxing? Are you talking about kickboxing? Are you talking about Muay Thai where they're throwing elbows and knees? And then you got wrestling and grappling. But you know, grappling just kind of encompasses all the different grappling martial arts, like wrestling. What type of wrestling? Freestyle, folk style, Greco-Roman, jiu-jitsu, you know, nogi, judo. So you have to get good at all this stuff, just like as an MMA fighter. You know, you got to get good at it. At least be exposed to it, so that you can groove your game, your style, your swing, and then, you know, ultimately, it really doesn't matter what your swing, what your style is like, as long as it's effective and as long as you're doing the fundamental things correctly. Like, you can look at all, because I studied the swing too. I was able to like take everything I was able to do from that martial arts gave me, like jiu-jitsu. I'm a jiu-jitsu black belt. So like before I fought, I traveled the world and gave everything I had into jiu-jitsu alone. And that's very much like, that's even more like golf than MMA is. But you know, and then I transitioned into MMA from that. So I just applied how I got good at that to the swing. But if you're looking at the swing, all these guys got different crazy swings, right? Like if you're looking at the Matt Wolfs, and then if you go back in history, all the Laney Watkins, or these old guys. I think that's his name. But they all if you take the pictures of their P1 through P10, they're all hitting the same. At the very least, impact position is almost identical. And a lot of the all of the different positions, like if you hit them at a certain spot, they all look the same. They all got the same ingredients to a certain degree. So I preach the same thing in fighting to the guys, and like that's kind of I see the same thing. Like they're two of the same.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, even with you when you were in the MMA and you were about ready to get to a fight, I mean, you probably studied opponents, you probably studied their techniques, and it's like, as a golfer, you have all of your clubs in your bag, but you might play a certain course where you say, okay, I'm not going to need a 3-iron here. I'm going to have to pull my 5-wood, because you want to be, as deadly as you can out there and try to compete and get that, get that victory. So, it's like you said, it's very similar. I mean, you're studying your opponent in the UFC, and you're studying the golf course to be successful.
I love that comparison, dude.
Yeah, but what about when you're playing the golf course? It takes me back to something Jack Nicklaus said, and he was like, to be a champion, you have to learn how to manage your weaknesses. Like he's talking about, like taking away the left side of the course, so he's playing that cut always, playing the cut no matter what. It doesn't matter if he's going to go to a course where it does not favor the cut. He's going to hit the cut. He's just going to manage that shot. And he's not going to go for the certain things where a draw would be better. Same thing in fight. Like, don't try to strike with the striker. Don't try to grapple with the grappler. Try to get. You just have to find the easiest way to win. But honestly, American style is not do that. American style is and I'm talking mostly like American wrestling style, and it differs from all the other international mindsets and mentality. It's almost counterproductive and counterintuitive. It's like, hey, no matter what, we're hustling our ass off. We're going to take the hardest road possible. We're going to run our heads into the wall. Other mentality is like, no, if you're like hurt and when you get hurt in wrestling, they give you like a 5-minute injury break. It's like they're like, no, take it all. Pretend you're hurt. Limp back to the middle and then jump on the guy. And it's like, no, don't. It's like, don't try to. Hey, you're hurt. Fuck it, run back in there, wrestle him anyways. Hold on, wait, whoa. You could run right into a pin here. Say don't try to hit all these crazy shots. You can't hit a draw ever. Like, why are you trying to hit a draw, or vice versa? I do it all the time. Like, if I'm hitting it good, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go over these trees here, and then boom, block it directly into the dark forest.
There's a lot of rounds.
I gotta take my own advice sometimes.
Yeah, there's a lot of rounds sometimes where you go in there, you think you're prepared, next thing you know, you feel like you got knocked out. You got the knockout.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, then you feel sad when you go home. You drive home and be like, man, I wish I shouldn't have hit driver on that hole. I ruined my match. I lost the tournament because of I was trying to switch up my putter to the claw grip, or I was trying to hit that draw on the hole, and it ended up shanking it in the water. So yeah.
No, I get it, man. I get it. But anyways, John, you got to tell me, man. You got to tell me. I see you love golf as much as I do, buddy. So tell me, at what point did you get into the game of golf? Was it like a casual hobby at first, or when did you start taking it seriously, bro?
I took it seriously from the moment that I decided to take it on as a hobby. It was a very pointed approach to it, I'm at the point in my life where I'm not messing with anything unless I'm totally gonna sink my teeth in. I have zero time for hey, let me go play pickleball, or let me go get into IPAs or something like this. No, I'm not dissing IPAs. I promise. I'm just saying how people adopt these weird hobbies, especially as guys get older. It's I have zero time for that. If I've already got a hobby in martial arts, I'm still actively involved. I'm traveling to UFC still to this day. So when I knew I was going to get into it, I'm all right, I'm all in. And I was I'm going to get blades and all this stuff, and I did, and I bought a million sets of clubs.
You punished yourself. You punished yourself.
Absolutely, yeah, because I'm a traditionalist. I come from the gi and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, so I had to go back to the source. And guess what? I love that I did that, and I'm so happy that I did. I'll tell you right now, I'm in single lengths right now, so I'm a big time equipment junkie and going through all types of cringy stuff. Like my brother hates that I'm doing this, and he's the reason I got into it. My brother's a former Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu multiple time world champion, younger than me. Um, and then he moved to California, became a real estate agent, and got married and started to. He joined his local country club. He lives in Sacramento, and he was playing. And then I'm getting wind of this, through the grapevine through my mom that he's like picking up golf now. I was like 11 years old in 1997. I'm dating myself here. But I grew up around, I was alive, Tiger Woods, boom,
Yeah.
When shit was popping off in pop culture back in 97, everybody knew about it. There was no phones to take I lived through golf. I felt, I come from like my mom's
Me too,
whole
bro.
family's are
I'll
golfers.
say it right now, I'm 43. I'm 43 years old, so I
You look
live
great,
through.
yeah.
Same age. How old are you, bro? You can say it.
39.
39. All right, so 4 years
Yeah.
less, and yeah, I love it, man. We lived through it, bro. We lived through those moments. We had no cell phones. We didn't
Nope.
go on social media to say how awesome Tiger Woods was. We just watched it and embraced it. Dude, you're right. It's an amazing thing, and I'm so glad that I lived those moments, bro. I'm so
It
glad.
was insane, and it gives me a connection to like everything that I watch, in particular that because I spent a lot of time around my grandparents when I was around that age, and a little bit younger, and my grandfather was a big time golfer. Like till I remember, since my earliest memories are going in his garage and seeing like a T-bird, and then like it seemed in my memory thousands of golf clubs all over the walls. He was just a guy. He had owned his own HVAC business back then, and he had done good. And he was a blue collar guy. He spent all of his money on golf, and so I was just around a lot of golf. I never played it. I was playing ice hockey. I played a lot of ice hockey. Played like
Oh, nice. I was a hockey
I played. Okay, cool. I played with guys that went to the NHL. I mean, they didn't weren't prominent stars in the NHL, but I stopped playing in high school. But I played travel like all up and down the Mid Atlantic.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, and so I was big time hockey head, and just naturally, yeah. So like naturally, kind of like when you're doing hockey tournaments, you'll go to the driving range and shit like that. So I was dabbling in it always. So I get wind that my brother's playing golf, and I remember distinctly, like maybe a year before, my mom saying that he's playing golf and he's getting really good. I'm like, he didn't even know which hand he was when we went to the drive. We went out to when Topgolf first came, and I don't like Topgolf, but we went there when we first opened up when we went to go visit him. He didn't know how to hold the club. Next thing I know, I'm hearing like a year later he's like good and he's playing all the time. And then so I'm like, wait, what? And then so I'm like, I can't. We were gonna meet each other at my sister's wedding and play, and I'm like, I can't let him beat me. We didn't end up playing, but I started to get into it, and because my mom or he was like, I'm really good now, and I'm like, yeah. So I was like, all right, I got to start playing. We didn't end up playing. He was hurt, but he showed me his swing, and I was like, holy shit, he's got a real swing. Like he right now he shoots in the 70s. He's like he plays tournaments and shoots in the 70s. He's a beast, very technical. So he did the same thing I did, just applied everything he knows. But he was even better at jiu-jitsu than I was. So he's better at golf than I am too, sadly. And his swing is way better looking than mine. But I got into it because he kind of he got into it and got good at it, and then I was like, this is perfect. Because I actually like this too, and I was like, I need this. I needed something to that I could that could take my focus, because even though I train and spar still, and I can do that rolling off the couch hungover and no sleep, and it's just at this point I need it. I can't live with it and I can't live without it. It doesn't really give me anything. I just know I can feel it when I'm not training at least 3 times a week. I feel crappy and depressed, and then when I have it, I'm just less depressed, But I need something else. I need to fill the void, So it's golf, and and I'm just obsessed with it. I think about the swing. I study the swing. I study all the old greats. I'm obsessed with Mac O'Grady, Ben Hogan.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry guys, I'm rambling.
Golf is I played it most of my life. I'm 41. I've been playing it for probably 31 years. I'm
Awesome.
shooting low 70s, and I was around for the Tiger era. I mean, nothing was like going around your little box TV and watching the tournaments, or even basketball. I was excited when Jordan was on.
Yep.
Just a cable TV and you're
Unbelievable. Yeah,
watching
yeah.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's cool because golf is an escape for me. When I was 22, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is like a form of cancer. And, golf saved my life because it allowed me to just not think about, negative things in the world, and everything's good now. But, even now, I mean, no matter how stressed you are, I get out on the course and you just see the beauty. You're with good, your golf community. So, it's actually therapeutic for a lot of people too.
So
And just a way to
therapeutic.
get out and enjoy yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Defense and all that stuff, all that nonsense.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna pause right there, and whatever's on your mind, I want you to ask Adam. We're gonna give our ad reads a quick shout out and take a short intermission. All right, John, and we'll be back literally in 2 minutes. So hang tight.
Yeah. All good.
All right, buddy. Is your swimming pool looking more like a pond these days? Don't sweat it. Swimming Pool Repair Experts has your back. Since 2000, Swimming Pool Repair Experts has been the trusted name for top-notch in-ground pool renovations across the greater capital region. From liner changes and pool bottom refinishing to plumbing repairs, opening, closings, and stunning upgrades like lighting, benches, stairs, and decks, Swimming Pool Repair Experts does it all. Their expert team is ready to bring your pool back to life so you can dive into some summer fun. Because what's better than taking a nice dip after a long round of golf? Get a hold of Jim over at Swimming Pool Repair Experts today at 518-858-2587. That's 518-858-2587. Or check his website out, swimmingpoolrepairexperts.com. And don't forget to tell Jim that you heard about him on the Upstate Golf Guys podcast for that extra discount.
Hey there, golfers. Before we dive back into the podcast, I want to take a quick moment to talk about someone who's got your back both on and off the course. Jared Lozier with the Northeastern Insurance Agency. Whether you're running a golf business, managing a pro shop, or just looking to protect what matters most in your personal life, Jared and his team at Northeastern Insurance have you covered. From business insurance to personal policies, they'll help you find the right coverage at the best value. Here's a pro tip for all you golfers out there. Make sure your golf clubs are protected too. Jared can help you add them to your home or personal articles policy so you're covered in case of loss, theft, or damage. Because let's face it, replacing your favorite driver isn't cheap. So next time you're looking to upgrade your coverage or need expert advice, give Jared Lozier a call at 518-956-3753 or shoot him an email at jaredl@nemail.com. Swing into better protection today.
Yo, Adam, before I used to use my man for insurance on my clubs, but now I know what I'm going to do. I'm sending my boy John over after him if he steals my clubs, and he's going to put them in that MMA chokehold and get my club back.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Give me a tea time somewhere good. I'll do it.
I got it.
Listen, I was thinking while we had a little intermission, there's one question I always wanted to ask, a MMA fighter, how do you keep your shins? Is that where you can kick somebody like that? Like, is there like a specific something that you do to make your shins like as for me, if I was to kick something right now, I'd probably go it down in tears. But like, is there like a special training for shins?
Special training you'll see. I'm sure you're going to see, people have seen like viral videos of guys like kicking like bamboo trees or something to toughen their shins up. That's kind of more for show, but guys do have like wooden kind of rollers, especially in Thailand. They'll kind of roll out their shins a lot to kind of condition them, because you have to condition your body just like you got to condition your skin when you're like on the wrestling mats, you're barefoot and stuff. You'll get scratches. I call it like white belt skin, because it toughens up after your first few months on the mats, and then to the point where your skin is just naturally like kind of rough. Like like my skin is kind of rough and coarse because I like lived on the mats for so long. But the shin stuff, like, and some of it is unavoidable. Like when you throw a kick and a guy blocks your shin with his shin, they teach you how to block like that so that both of you get hurt. So it's like if the guy's going to hit you, block it so that he also gets hurt. And not just you get hurt. Um, and you'll also see guys, because of the way they're kicking now, higher up on the shins, that their legs are starting to snap now. The shins snap, and you can't stop that. You don't know when that's going to even happen because it doesn't happen until the bone gets like hit right there and just snaps in half. So I wasn't a kicker. That's why I was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I was a grappling specialist. I didn't like kicking. I don't even like punching and stuff like that. But I do, I'll do it, and I wasn't afraid of any of it. I was just like, I was never thinking about like, all right, when the guy's kicking at me, like, let me block the kick and then get ready to kick him or punch him back. I'm like thinking immediately, let me grab the leg and counter with a big punch or a takedown at the same time. That's hard to coach, so I don't really like advocate that like attack and approach a lot to a lot of guys, but it's a little unorthodox. But that was always my approach. I hate kicking, and I totally agree with you. Why would you do that? How do you do that?
Yeah. I was just, it's just always whenever I watch it, I
Because
like,
it hurts.
why do they kick like this? But I
Pain.
figured, yeah.
All right, let's get back to golf.
It works really good. Yeah, let's get back to golf.
The listeners want to know a little more about golf. So this is a good question. Are there any fighters out there that you know of that turn to love the game of golf that you would love to get a hold of and join you for a round?
Justin Gaethje is a UFC fighter. He's a prominent UFC fighter who's a golfer. He's not a great golfer, but
Doesn't matter.
I would, he would be a fun guy to golf with. Also, Daniel Cormier is a retired UFC fighter, and then Luke Rockhold is a former UFC fighter, former UFC champion,
Nice.
and Ralph Lauren polo model, a former purple belt world champion, and a great, and I mean great golfer. Look this guy up, Luke Rockhold, and type in MMA/golf or something on your own time, and the listeners can too at home. He's a great golfer. He really is. He's got a single digit handicap. He's been golfing for a very, very long time. There's a lot of guys on the UFC roster that golf. So, and right now there's this, the COVID. It's lame that COVID started the boom, but it did. It got me into golf in 2020. But everybody in the UFC got into golf too. So all the fighters are getting into golf. I advocate for the guys to get into golf, when they're done fighting, because it's too much to juggle, and it's not for you when you're currently fighting.
You just kind of answered my next question, and it was, do you think that golf should be a bigger part of fighting training, maybe like as a way to balance out the intensity of MMA?
Actually, sure. Yeah. If you have the time to do that, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely. It's just you have to start doing that stuff at like appropriate time zone, because you can't be doing something too fun and take your mind too much away from it when you have to actually be in it. You actually got to be sleeping in your car. Okay. Like the guys who are on Court Ferry Tour, they're sleeping in their car. What are they doing for fun? They got to be doing it, so sometimes like there are certain guys that are not in the in their path that golf they don't have time for golf.
I got you. Yeah. All right, and then this is a good question that you may be interested in. What state are you in again?
Maryland.
Maryland. Adam, does Maryland have a chapter of the GOLFWEEK Amateur Tour? Can you look that up for me, sir?
Are you close to DC?
Are you close
yes,
to DC?
I am. Yep.
You are.
So you can go to, if you're interested, we're actually going there this weekend. Myself, Anthony, and 6 others are going down for a tournament in DC at the Twin Lakes.
Oh, really? Near the National Harbor.
Yeah. Twin Lakes, Oaks and Lakes course. It's a 2-day, but if you go to the amateurgolftour.net on your own, you can go there and you can find DC Metro and you can join with them. They have a lot of tournaments. What we do is a national tour. I'm the director of the New York Upstate. But you just play for fun. You play in your own, you 5 different flights, and you play different courses and you compete for money and trophies, and you can add a
I'm
few of
in
those
for
to
sure.
what you have too. But yeah, DC Metro is probably the closest to you.
Yeah, I'll send you some more.
What's the second closest to? Because I'll drive. That's I got into golf, to not only to like as personally, but like to also I still have a competitive
Well,
drive
here's
and
the
edge.
best.
So,
So here's the best, John. The best thing I could answer that question. That does not matter, bro. Because once you are a member of the Golf Week Am Tour, you could literally play at any event, any tour that these guys put on. Directors, I've had a lot of directors on my podcast in the past. So if you go back and listen to some of my podcasts, they put on great events. There are a lot of awesome prizes out there. Again, some cash money and awesome hardware, bro.
And they have a national championship in Hilton Head, South Carolina, every October. And last year there was 1,100 players from across the country. We're all there to have a good time. There's 5 flights now. There's a few. There's a New Jersey one. There's a Philadelphia, PA Metro. I don't know if you're close to Philly.
somewhat.
Richmond, Virginia, DC Metro, and Tidewater. Those are really the ones that are close to you.
Dude, I'll send you. I'll DM you. I'll DM you the website and more information and any questions you have on it, because it's an amazing tour. I've literally gained life. You know how golf is, bro. I gained lifelong friends. I used to have 2 or 3 people in my phone that I'd be able to call golfing. Now I have freaking 35, 40, and I'm not exaggerating. Adam will tell you. I literally do.
Yeah, you would have a great time. I mean, it's you're out there having a good time. You're playing golf. You're enjoying courses. DC Metro. If you go there and you email them, you can let them know that Adam Cahill. His name's Cephas Franklin.
Yep.
Great guy, and
Let him know you're on the podcast.
Yeah, we're going to be down there this weekend playing. So.
Yeah, man.
All right, I'm going to pull the juice card then. I'm going to say I'm on the podcast. All right.
Do it, dude. Do it. And
listen, if you're free this weekend, he might even be able to shoot you in. Shoot you in now.
I got to check the schedule. I've had a past couple of crazy weekends, but I might be able to pull it off depending on how the next few days shake out. So
if you
you guys might see me. Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, what do you shoot? Like average round?
Average round in the mid 80s.
That me too. So you're welcome to Sea Flight, bro. Welcome to Sea Flight.
Yeah,
and that's me too.
yeah.
Seriously. I would love to join you on tour and come and join the family, bro. Join the family.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, and hopefully we get to just play sometime, even just for fun soon too.
100%. All right, John. With that said, man, why don't you tell all the listeners where everybody can find you and all your IG handles, bro?
Yeah, please give me a follow and come look at like my content, videos, and stuff like that at Focused on Golf, at Focused on Golf, and at DELBRUGGE MMA. That's DELBRUGGE MMA. That's kind of my MMA page. But I post a lot of cool stuff. I'm always at events. I'm at UFCs. I'm at regional levels. I'm at like the Corn Ferry level tours. I'm at below that level tours for fighting, and I'm at the PGA tour. So you get to see behind the BTS of all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then like me trying to get into like amateur. I want to become like a competitive amateur. That's my goal.
Love it,
nice,
man.
That's awesome.
Love it, man. And congrats on all your success, all those medals that I saw you getting on the MMA in the past, bro.
Thank you.
Cool shit, man. I enjoy the follow, and I appreciate you following me, man, and hit me up.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks a lot. And I mean, it takes podcasts like this and content creators to just like keep it going, keep the buzz and the zeitgeist and everything, and just make it like what it is. So I appreciate it.
And I'd like to formally invite you to come back on the podcast down the road, man, if you're down.
Oh yeah, anytime. We'll come on, and I got to get my podcasting game better. So like I said, first time podcaster.
You're on point, bro. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed listening to you, dude. You're an awesome listener.
You were fine.
I think the listeners are going to definitely enjoy you, bro. But with that said, thank you, John. Thank you, all the listeners that support the podcast. Thank you, all the Golf Week Am Tour guys. Wouldn't be here without y'all. And I appreciate y'all for listening to this special episode number 70, everyone. Have a good night.
I'll see ya.